Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. I'm doing a series of spotlights on remarkable business intermediaries from across the country. And joining me on this segment is Neal Isaacs. He's the founder of Raleigh Business Brokers. Neal, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Mark. Glad to be here.
Neal, tell us a little bit about your work and tell us specifically who are the types of clients that you specialize in helping.
Well, thanks for asking. So we serve other business owners. We help them sell their businesses. Business brokers do it confidentially. So the clients that I help, they run a business, they make money, but for some reason they're looking for a change in their life. They're getting a divorce, they're aging out, retirement, they have family issues, they want to relocate to the beach, they have grandkids. For those owners, we figure out what it's worth and we find their buyer and we get it done confidentially. We primarily serve the triangle market, business owners doing $100,000 in cash flow or larger.
What's interesting about business owners, they're so great at starting their business, running it, growth. But what about selling? When it comes to selling, are they prepared? Do they know where to start?
The research indicates that they are not, that like 90% of business owners don't really have an exit plan. I mean, my story, I had a small business and I asked a customer, how much do you think I can get for my business? That is not the right way to do it. But that is kind of the norm, unfortunately, is just don't even know where to start. A lot of people don't know that business brokers exist.
Yeah, that's right. Speaking of that, as you mentioned, they don't really think about selling until the end, but shouldn't they be running their business as if they were going to sell it anyway? Like all the things that you actually prepare the business for sale should have been done a long time ago. Tell us about that.
Yeah, Michael Gerber wrote the EMyth Revisited. That's one of my favorite books. But if you've heard the term to work on your business, not in your business, I mean, he coined that term years and years ago. And it's true to this day. Most people are very kind of head down, working on the business. They are an operator, but the business buyers, that they don't want to buy a job. They want to buy an operational business with a team where the owner is really in the owner's seat and they're managing managers. That's where the focus should be. Easier said than done, right?
As you mentioned, a lot of folks don't understand the role of a business intermediary or broker. Can you kind of, shine a light on that? Give us a 10,000-foot view on the types of things that you help these business owners with and what the big benefit is working with you?
Yeah. So if you're unfamiliar with what a business broker does, think about a real estate agent. We do represent owners in the sale of their largest asset. The difference is that the confidentiality that comes with business brokerage. I'm jealous of my real estate friends in that we can't put an address out. I got the best business for sale ever. What is it? I can't tell you, sign this paper, right? So that's the fundamental difference is the confidentiality. But it is similar in that we represent, as a fiduciary, we represent our clients. We help them with the pricing. We come up with a marketing strategy that has two layers, the confidential piece, and then we screen the buyers. And for the appropriate buyers, we share a secondary presentation, which is a selling document. On the back end, it turns into similar to a real estate deal when the lawyers come in and we go through escrow and diligence and closing. But we are with our clients from the beginning until check is slid across the attorney's desk and they're starting their transition period. That's the full scope of the work.
When you start working with an owner to sell their business, can you take us back a little bit and tell us how far in advance should they start preparing and what are those key things that you help them prepare?
I like to work with owners that are within a couple of years. If they say, I'm going to sell in 24 months, I will work with them. Number one, we do valuations first. We figure out what the cash flow is. Most of the owners I talk to do not know what their cash flow is. Hopefully they know their top line. If they don't know their top line revenue, that they definitely want to figure that out. But knowing what the cash flow is, which is the true economic benefit for the next business owner, we help them figure out what that is. If their books aren't clean, then we help them. We encourage them to work with their accountant to categorize their expenses properly so that we can truly see what's business, what's personal, discretionary. So once we get a realistic perspective on the financials and the cash flow, then we talk about the team and we make sure, back to the owner operated piece, that there is a transferable team. It is almost impossible to sell a one-man band. So we really want to encourage them to get a team that's going to stay behind after them.
Let's talk about the market a little bit. We're coming out of a pandemic now, and even though that's triggered a lot of business owners to think, "Hey, man, I think it's time." Uh, However, they're also wondering, it's we just came out of a pandemic. Is this a good time to sell a business? What's the economy been like in your market, and what have you seen the opportunities?
The pandemic was unexpected for many different industries, including business brokerage. My personal experience, it was different for each broker, but my personal experience is 2020, when the lights turned out, a couple months, it was nothing. It was scary. When the lights came back on, we sold everything that we had. The people who didn't close, it was 100% a seller's market. People lost their jobs. People became buyers. We had more buyers than ever in 2020. I saw something of a hangover in 2021 where we were low on inventory. The businesses that made it had already sold, and the owners that were doing great at that time were making so much money that they're like, well, I'll never sell now. I just started making money. So only in 2022, from a inventory perspective, are we starting to catch up. It's still very much, in my opinion, a seller's market, in that there's more buyers right now, and there's not enough sellers of quality businesses. There's a lot of fire sales going on, but as far as quality businesses have good books, that have a team, they're making money. There's a shortage of those. So owners in that situation are in a pretty good position.
Fascinating insight. Neal, what inspired you to become a broker and help folks sell their businesses? How did you get started in the business?
Back to my origin story, running a small business, in that position of, this was fun. I've done it for, looking at coming up on a decade, but it's not as challenging anymore. How can I transition into something else? I can't tell my staff. I don't want my employees to go elsewhere. I don't even know what to do with my landlord. I was that person, and I reached out and met a business broker. And I remember I think of it like the movie Pulp Fiction. The fixture shows up and he cleans up the mess. I remember a business broker showed up to my office after dark, and I explained the situation. Said, "Yeah, we have a process for that. We can do this whole thing confidentially, get you onto your next adventure." I just thought that was fascinating that people like that existed. So that was kind of my origin story. Fast forward, 15 years, and now I am that guy helping other owners that are trying to get to their next stage.
Yeah, that was one of the inspirations of this series, was just to shed a light on the benefits of your work, and how few people really know it exists to help them out. Neal, before I ask you my last question, is there anything that I didn't think to ask you that you feel is important to share with a business owner that's considering selling in today's economy?
I would just go to the value of representation. Not everybody needs a business broker. I'll be the first one to say that my services, some people come to me and they've got a buyer, or they know their price, and I'll say, "Hey, you've got a buyer, you've got a deal. Go ahead and find an attorney. And here's a banker, here's an attorney. You guys get your deal done." But for those people that don't understand the value of representation, I would say learn more about what intermediaries do, and if you could possibly get more if you hired an intermediary and covered their costs. That's the question, if you're thinking about if you should hire an intermediary.
For folks listening now that resonate with your message, Neal, and would love to speak with you, get your help, learn more, how do they find you and connect?
Thank you for asking. So RaleighBusinessBroker.com, you find all things about me. I put a ton of educational content on YouTube. They are business brokers. It's my YouTube channel in the Raleigh, Durham market. Check out my videos, learn from the series that I do. If you have a question, because of the confidential nature of my business, direct message me. Otherwise, like, subscribe, share, and look forward to educating people about business deals.
Neal, this has been terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time to share with my audience today, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thank you so much, Mark. This has been fun.
That was Neal Isaacs, founder of Raleigh Business Brokers. And this segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining me.